All right, let's talk about the Hudson O'Neal, Tim McCreadie debuting in their new rides. Tim McCreadie, obviously, it's a permanent ride in the Rocket 1 car. But with O'Neal, Hudson O'Neal is a somewhat temporary, not as temporary as I thought, but somewhat temporary ride with being in the 71 Rumley. Excuse me. I totally lost my train of thought there. The Rumley car for the weekend at the Lucas Oil Series at Brownstown and Atomic. 6th and 22nd for O'Neal, 6th at Brownstown, 22nd at Atomic. He was running in the top 10, but had a flat midway through at Atomic, ends up 22nd. 11th and 6th for McCreadie.
You wouldn't expect either one of them to just go out there and suck. Like
No.
they're in good equipment, and they know how to drive. So I think it's on par. I think that Hud was looking at it 2 top 10s probably, and I would argue that he might have beat McCreadie both nights if he didn't have a flat.
It's possible, certainly
Very
possible.
So I thought they did well.
I think you had to expect there was going to be they weren't going to come out firing, maybe like there have been times someone jumps in a car and is just really good.
You wanted to see one of them get out there and win, and that way we could talk about it. You know what I mean? Cool. Like you kind of wanted to see that, I think. Is that where you were going with that?
I think that was, when you got guys who are clearly, like Devin on top of it right now and running, running really well, to think these guys could, switch rides kind of. And also not like just the way it kind of happened. Like there's a lot of, like you kind of got to settle in, right, and get comfortable. And like you're also we know how important it is to work well with whoever, you're making these decisions on setup and everything. Like, is it going to take a few races for McCreadie and Mark Richards and the rest of the Rocket 1 team to gel, right? Like I know they know each other and they have a long relationship, but when it comes to making decisions on the car, who's stepping up and saying this is what we should do, and communication between the driver and the crew, like that's so important these days that it's going to take a little while for that to mold and gel together. And for Hudson and their only side, same thing. Although I'd say Rumley's worked with a lot of different drivers, right? Like kind of put them in the seat and seem to adapt quickly. But at the same time, you still don't. I think what we're seeing in the sport is it takes a good car, good driver, good crew, and good connection between all three, right?
Yeah.
And that takes a little
everything
while,
clicking together as well. Yeah. Michael Loftus, thank you for the $2. Fan for the last 3 to 4 years. Love everything y'all do. Hey, we appreciate you being here and tuning in, man. Appreciate the $2 as well on the super chat. I think, like I just said, I think you wanted to see so we saw the Pierce and Moran coming off the tire issues and finishing first and second at Brownstown. I would have loved to have seen the next night O'Neal or McCreadie win at Atomic. Like how then it would have been talking about you couldn't have scripted any better. Then you would have had sure enough a good script for sure. If that could have happened, but
to be honest, they both ran well. I mean, I think Hudson there, like I think he was going to had a chance to be a top 5 car at Atomic.
Well, and McCreadie was trying to get in there as well in the top 5 at Atomic, and just kind of shook out that he ended up 6th. But he could have been right there, around 4th or 5th. Also, they did kind of what you would have expected them to do: go and be top 10 cars. You know what I mean? Right. And that's where you lose, and that's where it's like. I don't know. They just did what you expected. The question now is, what do we expect from here, though? Did y'all see where Hudson is actually running the next 2 weeks in the Rumley car?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So it's not a permanent ride. He's not a permanent team up, but it will be for a little while now, I guess.
Yeah. So they, according to the article on Dirt on Dirt, are going to I-75 and Tazewell this week with the Spring Nationals, and then going to the XR at Volunteer the following week. And after that, it's up. I think the exact words Hudson used were it's up in the air, I think is what he said, or something like that. Kind of, we'll see. But he has, what does he have, a month until the end of April, I guess. We assume with Hudson, he's planning on trying to put something together to run all of the Lucas Oil Series, right? That's something we can all assume, I guess.
Yeah, I think that yes, absolutely. He'll be on the Lucas Oil series, right? Whether it's something he's piecing together with sponsorship and support, or getting in a ride, or if they find a way their only deal to keep going. Um, I think and some of that may depend on how he runs over the
Right.
next those 2 weeks, right? Like and going forward, I think the thing is, we kind of said whenever this first came about and kind of how you look at the season is you just have to be in that top four, right? To make the uh the
Chase.
chase,
To chase. Yeah.
where have you. But that's going to be hard,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
you saw last night.
He's
like
fourth
Hudson
now. He went into the
he's-
weekend second, had a bad luck flat tire. Now he's sitting fourth. Only, let's see, let me find it. I believe that is 55 points ahead of Marlar.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is you've added, you expect Ricky Thornton Jr. and Davenport and Devin Moran, right, are gonna like I almost think
they're gonna maintain.
Yeah,
they're gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, now we didn't have Marlar like you're looking at comparing it to last year. Last year you didn't have Marlar in the mix, right? And you add him in the mix to make the top four. All of a sudden becomes a lot harder. Dalton Wilson is on the upswing and running well. You expect him to be
he's setting sixth,
right?
Yep.
Like you just aren't gonna be able to struggle very much, or not even struggle, just be not be on top of your game very long, or you're going to get way behind, right? And so I don't know. Like I McCreadie, I just don't see. I don't like there's so much ground they have to make up, and to think that many guys are you're basically running for your one spot in that group, I think. And there's a lot of guys you're going to have to be better than, and he's already kind of buried.
Yeah, he's ninth,
behind.
160 points out of fourth.
Exactly. So I definitely don't see both McCreadie and O'Neal making the top four.
Okay, right? I think the question there does McCreadie have a shot? Yeah. Does McCreadie have it? You think Rocket One, Tim McCreadie, they have a shot at making the top four?
Jesse, go ahead.
They're gonna have to really get to jiving like real quick. Like I mean, they didn't run bad this past weekend. They didn't run bad, but they're gonna really start jiving and being in the top five like every race.
Right.
Like,
well, really even in the top five isn't necessarily good. Yes, there you go. Exactly.
All right, let's make this more interesting. Let's say you got $100 to put on.
Joshua doesn't want to say no. McCreadie's not going to make.
Well, I just want to know, like, no, you can kind of beat no. Just kind of beat around the bush and said, he might not. They're gonna have to do it this way. Like, if you had $100 to bet on it, it's McCreadie, O'Neal, the field. Neither of them making it, or both of them making it. Where would you put your money? Right? Like,
dude,
hold on, wait.
So here's the thing.
Repeat those options.
Here's the problem with this: is you have no idea where Hudson's going to end up. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Surely he's going to end up in good equipment, right? I mean, surely.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
But it's just, hell, I could say it's possible neither one of them make it.
Yeah. Well, that was so. Okay, so we had
$100.
$100. They both make it, right? Was that an option?
Well, you got four options here.
I would put $100 if both of them do not make it. I would say that.
You're saying, but neither of them going to make it. That's where
I'd say that's more likely to happen.
I would go $100 O'Neal only if I had to pick one of those.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna hedge my bets, and I'm gonna go 50 on O'Neal making it.
That wasn't an option.
No.
He changing the rules of the game.
I think. So I'm gonna look at this like where the points are now. You got O'Neal is fourth. You got Marlar and Wilson. I feel like those are the two that are gonna keep them out, right? Like if they don't make it, if O'Neal or McCreadie don't get in, I was going to say I don't see McCreadie getting in, right? Like that's too much ground to make.
5 minutes to get to that.
No, Jesse said it first.
I don't think McCreadie gets in, and if Marlar stays on track, I don't see no reason why he can't pass Hudson in the points.
That's what I was going to say. Like that's to me is the most likely candidate to get that fourth spot. We're all assuming that RTJ, Davenport, Moran are locks, right? Like you don't see them, we see them keeping the momentum rolling and running well. So obviously anything can happen, but if you had to bet on it, I think you would bet on those three. Then it's that fourth spot. And I don't know, like Marlar, he like you said, he's running well, but those, I don't know. I'll go ahead. I think I think O'Neal will get in. I'm gonna
if he doesn't have a flat at Atomic, where is he leading the points or second?
Probably,
or
he'd be really
right
close.
there. He's only
he'd still be second.
Yeah, he's fourth, 75 points out, and that's after a 22nd place finish. At Atomic, he had a flat tire. Like, I mean,
so Jesse went on bet on neither of them.
I'd say neither.
I said O'Neal making.
I think if I were betting on it, that's probably what I would say. But I do think I would lean toward Hudson making it.
Okay.
It just.
Well, you could have hedged your bets.
All right, I put it this way: if we all had to bet on one or the other, I think we'd all bet on.
We'd bet on Hood.
I think so. Yeah, I don't. It's just so. I don't know, and that's not to say that McCreadie can't in the Rocket One group won't win races. It's just saying, man, you look at the points here, and that's a tough group to have to now dig out of a hole. Get to Jellin and dig out of the hole and go beat them enough to pass them in the points. That's just a hard task for anyone. I mean, heck, if you put, if you put O'Neal down there in ninth, or even Devin Moran or Mike Marlar down there in ninth, it's just hard. They're so tough. The competition is so tough. It's hard to dig out of that hole, I guess. Yeah. My point is, I'm not saying McCreadie can't. I'm just saying it would be tough for anyone to make that distance up.
I agree.
It definitely gives you something to follow along with the points the rest of the year. Is how do these two guys, where do they shake out, and can they find their way in?